YouTube, how we doing? PPS here, back. As you can see, we got another guest on the show, Mr. Brian. How you doing today? How's the bets been going?
All right. I didn't realize you had a little countdown for the thing in. I would have done like the slide in, like the Chris Collins or whatever. I would have slid in a little bit. Yeah. No, it's nice to be on here though.
Yeah, man, the countdown is true professionalism right there. You can't get much better than that.
I wasn't ready. I was the longest 30 seconds of my life. But yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned because since I started like working from home now or whatever, I've been wearing these glasses and I've been like going on camera all the time, and it's hilarious that like you would think with how often I've been on camera, I would like eventually like not wear a hat and just like keep my glasses on and put my contacts in, but it hasn't happened once.
No, I feel you, dude. It's hard in the morning. Like, when I wake up, it's like if I don't like go to the gym, I won't take my glasses off. I'll have to go contacts. It's like a routine.
Well, on my videos, did you know that 71% of people trust someone with glasses than without glasses?
I can see that.
It's not a real stat, but you believed it, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I also wear my Harvard shirt to make myself look smart. I didn't go to Harvard, but I had $15. So
yeah, no, I mean that's actually a good branding idea. Maybe we should really get some consulting from you. Just Harvard shirts maybe you do Yale, I'll do Harvard. You kind of mix it up.
It's crazy.
They won't believe me though. They won't believe me.
If you have like $15, you can go anywhere. Like, it's crazy. You can go anywhere, any school, any background. It's awesome.
Okay, well, we'll let a couple more people fuel in here before we get into our first pick. Do you have anything you want to, shout out real quick before we get going? We've given some of our guests some real dramatic entrances, and I feel like you didn't get a super dramatic one.
Yeah, I had this up. I just didn't click it right away. I was like, oh,
I ruined it by talking. That's what I usually do.
No, that's okay, man. But I know you're on props.cash, right? Are you affiliated with them? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm running for them now. They're awesome. I love those guys. And then the other thing, like I said, I left my full-time job because this is going like well enough, and so we're working with them now. And the other app is a Pickett sportsbook app. Is now working with them.
I saw that. Yeah,
they're pretty cool. Like, I think a lot more people are jumping on them. I've been on with them since before they launched. And it's just really cool because like my whole thing is I'm like a boring bettor. So I'm all about like bankroll management and like managing this and that. So it's actually pretty cool because I feel like sometimes to become better bettors, you just have to like know what you're betting. Like, so many people are like, oh, I didn't realize I had that in. And if you like see it on like a tracking thing and like you actually know what you're putting in and out, it just makes you kind of smarter.
No doubt. Yeah. No, we've all been there before without the apps or anything, just throwing stuff in the morning. Stats are for losers. Hey man, that was John. That was kind of
John was
for losers. I was just giving some context.
Yeah, and I'm a loser, so I'm okay with that.
There you go.
Yeah. You're talking like before the show about people like shout you out about like Steve Nash or whatever. It's so funny that for me now, like I'm like known for Luka. Like everyone just like it's someone like commented on one of my things that said, "Do you realize for the rest of like our lives, you're gonna be like a legacy for Luka is fat or whatever?" And it's just hilarious that it's just becoming like its own meme. That I took his under live at half, his under 35.5 live, and my guy like JD on Twitter, he texted me. He was like, "Bro, you gotta stop with these JD unders." And I was like, we'll see. And he ended the game with 25. So he went in the half with 21 points, didn't make a single field goal in the second half. And I texted him like midnight, and I was like, yeah, what are you saying now? Like,
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You're affiliated at this point with Luka and Aiden, right? Those are your guys. I mean,
I need them back. Back. Yeah. I mean, like, so I know you're less of a trend guy, but for me, it's funny that I'll find a trend or try to predict a trend, and I'll just ride it until something breaks. Like, which is like funny because some people come at me or like they're saying like, oh, your record this or units of that, and some of it like does like that's not cheating or anything, but some of it comes out if I find a good trend and it hits, I'll just ride it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like when Joel Embiid was starting his 30-point streak,
yeah,
I got on it and I bet it every day from day like 2 on until he missed. And I got trolls when he missed the record, and I'm like, I don't care. I hit it 7-1. Like I just was on that, and now that they raised his number up to 32.5, he's just scoring 40 a game now. So he's doing his thing.
He's a man of the people. He really is. Gotta appreciate it. Let's just do a really, really quick recap from last week. We had Vaughn on the show last week. We'll run through our plays. I believe he had Laurie. He had like 30, didn't he? I think
Laurie had a great game. Yep.
Kyrie Cash, I believe too, right?
Yep. Very easy. Very easy.
My boy Darius, easy money. That man is a freaking savage. Gabe Vincent. I think
he came up short, right? I think
11. He had 11.
Yeah. Tough miss.
This was an ejected game, right?
Yeah. V Money had the miss there, and then I had Jimmy Butler get ejected in the middle of the game. So that was
your fault. You should have known that one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Dude, the biggest thing about that was I called that someone was getting ejected. I thought it was Pat Beverly.
I remember.
And then literally it comes out and Butler gets kicked. So I'm like, oh, that sucks. I jinxed that. So had Jaren Jackson point to rebounds. That was pretty easy.
Dude, JJJ is money as long as he doesn't start punching people.
Yeah, he fouls so much.
He's another biggest thing. 2 fouls in 2 minutes, and it's over. You just know once he's in his bag, it's over.
Yeah.
Gabe Vincent, I think he had 3 or 2.
Yeah, he came up short in this one. Yeah, pretty.
And we were this close. Triple J's dropped a 30. Garland had 20, and then decided he wanted to be actual point guard again and start passing. So was not able to cash in on that one. But yeah, we will get into it. Thank you guys for all tuning in here. It's awesome. I had Pat Bev RA, and he got hurt with 4. Yeah, Pat Bev's been in and out, so he's been just kind of a weird guy to bet on. But we'll get right into it. We'll get going. Looks like we have about 50 live viewers in here. Thank you guys so much for that. Hopefully we can get you guys some winners today. And we'll start out with our guest, Mr. Brian. We'll start out with you.
Oh, I wasn't prepared for this. No, I mean, I guess the one thing I already put out, and I actually made it 1.5 unit, and it really came out as a 1 unit play. And then I got a lot of love for it and a lot of retweets, and I think a lot of people retweeted it. And then the more I thought about it, I did make it a 1.5 unit play. So this is you talk about prop.cash. This is kind of like prop.cash. This is the model of consistency. It's hit in 78% of these games this year. But when you look at it, the Bucks have a lot of rotations, I guess. Drew's been out, Middleton's been out, Giannis has been out, but he's hit this line on the season he averages 11 RA on the season, but with the full crew in, he averages 10.6. Without Drew, he averages 11.8, and without Giannis, he averages 11.2. So that's not a scary stark difference for me to really be scared of this line. But yeah, it's hitting 29 of his 37 games. And the biggest thing I looked at, which is funny, that now that Twitter Spaces is becoming a thing, I run regression models, and I have my prediction models on my own, which is how I make my picks and stuff. I mentioned on one of these spaces with rebound distance, and everyone lost their mind. It's just funny because it's how I track my rebounds and my predictions for rebound chances. And I was just casually mentioning how Chris Paul has a 9.9 rebound distance. So it's funny that everyone's losing their mind. But in this game, Chris Middleton his average distance from the rim for his rebounds is 7.2 feet from the rim. And Cleveland takes 17 shots a game from inside the 5 feet mark to the 14 feet mark. So for me, I have him projected at 8.9 rebound chances. And in the last matchup, in this matchup that they had earlier, he actually had 10 rebound chances in this game. So same matchup. So Cavs are a tough matchup, but he had 10 rebound chances in the last game against the Cavs, and he only got 3 boards. So converting at 30% is really awful. On the season, he converts 62% of his rebound chances. So if you believe in positive regression, if he gets 10 more chances, I'm guaranteeing he's going to – and I don't guarantee things, but I would think he would get more than 3, especially if Markkanen's out. It would help with the length. So that's probably my favorite prop on the board today.
Yeah, no, you brought up a good point. Markkanen being out now too. That means he doesn't have to sit over at the 3-point line, right, and pretty much babysit Laurie for the whole game.
Exactly, and then you just take off. And if Allen doesn't go, I mean, I made the play with it's a bonus if he doesn't play, but if just by Markkanen being out alone, you take away. I mean, I know he's a power forward or a small forward, but he's a center. They have 3 7-footers. If you take him off the court, I think it's just really going to help his overall rebound chances in that mid-range type of area.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I guess my only worry for this one at first when I was thinking about it is I feel like Middleton could have a pretty good scoring day today. I know a lot of people are kind of going towards Giannis, but where Middleton really does work, kind of like some guys we've talked about on these shows recently with like Jimmy Butler, is he's kind of a mid-range demon. He's a crafty vet. He really gets a lot of his work done in that area. And with that drop that Cleveland plays when Allen is starting specifically, I'm not sure what they're doing with, I think they started Davis last game. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how
he fouled out in like 23 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. But I know Allen definitely, if Allen plays, I think Middleton, we could see a little bit more scoring. If he doesn't play, it could go a lot of different directions.
Which is interesting as well because I think Middleton is almost you look at like certain guys in this league, like Middleton, like I think Dejounte Murray, Garland, like some guys, I think as their usage go up, like their whole stats go up. Mm-hmm. So the last, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? The last 6 times he scored 20 or more points, his assist numbers are 9, 11, 7, 4, and 5. And 7. Yeah. So like he's had 5 or more in like 4 of those 6 games where he's scoring 20 or more. So he's one of those guys too where I feel like if he has a big scoring night, it doesn't necessarily mean his assists might go down. His usage might just skyrocket up with ball in hand.
Yeah, no,
yeah, I'm a massive Bucks fan. Obviously, most of you guys know that. I'm from the Milwaukee area, and the Bucks right here are going to do the sit back stuff that I literally talk about every time we talk about the Bucks. Is you want to attack the Bucks by shooting threes. That's how you beat them. That's how their defense is meant for you to score, right? And Middleton here, I've watched so many games with Middleton. The thing is right away you're going to know what type of game it's going to be, whether it's going to be a Giannis game or if it's going to be a Middleton game. But Middleton has the ability to just not do anything. And then when Drew goes out for like 5-minute break, there's 3 assists in like within like a 2-minute period. So they switch off so much, but Middleton is probably the most consistent for the lines that we're given, right? Giannis is a pop-off line for you to hit the over. Middleton's line, I feel like, is always disrespectful until the market starts catching on.
Yeah, which is like I said, this line's hit in, like I said, 78% of games, but in 37 games, he only has, let me see, he only has 4 where he has 6 or less RA. So like he's just always there. Like so that's the other thing too, is there's some like props where you feel comfortable sometimes because no matter what, you're gonna be like almost in reach. Like it's not like Julius Randle where he drops 30 and 2. Like he's gonna be able to like be in that reach. And the other thing too that like I find interesting is that Cavs play at such a slow pace, which makes it even tougher. But it also gives like chances where the Bucks are pretty good in transition. So like not saying I'm calling this out or anything, but like there's like watching the last game, there's a few chances where you can get where if he can get a rebound and get a push in transition, that's a RA rebound assist right there if he can get it up the court to Giannis. So that's like it happened once in the game I was watching. Like I said, he blew a lot of rebound chances, but if he can come down those boards and they can catch the Cavs and they're like sleeping, I think it'd be a cool it's always nice to see a RA prop where you get a rebound into assist and transition.
100%. Yeah, no, that's guaranteed money right there. I mean, hey, not the transition bucket, not this play. Okay, we're not selling anything here. Okay.
Yeah, I had a troll like on my Twitter that was saying like mortal lock like of his or whatever, and I was like, I don't believe in that. And he like sent me.
There is no such thing as a lock.
He sent me. I didn't answer. I have like 7 DM requests from this dude, and he's sending me all these Barstool videos where they say mortal lock. And I was like, if you're using Barstool, whose whole marketing thing is to like try to get you to lose, I feel like it's a weird way to back up your statement that mortal locks exist.
Yeah, no, Barstool's like sportsbook philosophy is like if you win more than 5 bets, you're not allowed to be here. So yeah, I'm not sure that's the best place to go for your gambling knowledge. But hey,
I mean, it happened.
All right. That's the last thing too I'll say about this one before we move on to Monotone's first one is the best part about the big 3 for the Bucks is we don't play anybody 40 minutes. The Bucks aren't going to be like the Knicks where Giannis is going to play with the usage rate as high as it is. He's only going to play low 30s. That's kind of the way Budenholzer's always been. So you're never going to have that time where it just overlaps every time. So you're going to have some time where Middleton's that dude. So
and I was just saying, like, to quickly add on to that as well with Drew coming back from his like whole thing. He's been seeing less minutes. He played 31, I think, last game. So I'm not saying he's not going to see a lot of minutes, but Middleton's the guy that, like, if anyone's seeing like a consistent 30+ minutes, even when they blew out the Warriors, Middleton's usually the guy over Drew and Giannis that will see more minutes, or he'll be the guy that stays out there even in like not close games in the fourth quarter. It makes you kind of question why he's still out there. So like that's a good added bonus to it, I believe.
100%. He's like the vet too, and he's the one that they keep out there sometimes.
Yeah. Like, you kind of mentioned he's like the quality vet in the mid range, like Chris Paul. You watch Chris Paul sometimes where, you mentioned Middleton scoring. If he scores early and they come up on him, then the dimes will roll in second half if they start playing blitz defense. So
100%.
All right, Monotone, you're up, baby.
Yep, so we're going with a rookie right here, and Suggs is up at 15.5 points. I got it at plus 100. You can still get best price minus 105 on the under on DraftKings right now. So this one was interesting, right? I wanted to play this last game. I kind of talked myself out of it. I didn't have any action on that slate, so I just ended up taking that day off. But I'm back on Suggs now. He's got the Clippers as their matchup, which – it's an interesting matchup, right? Because it's hard to give a definitive opinion on the Clippers right now, especially because they could be resting some people. We don't quite know what their lineup is, but we do know what we do know about them is the rim protection actually is pretty good. Suggs has been playing his best basketball of the season since coming back these last 6 games, right? We're only looking at a 6-game sample size, but he was playing very poorly before that wrist injury. Since he's come back, he's been playing pretty well, actually. But even with him playing pretty well, he's only gone over this number in 2 of those 6 games. Additionally, he's kind of ramped it up. He's played 30+ minutes these last 3 games, and he's actually still only gone over in 1 of those 3 games. So Suggs is playing good basketball, but yeah, the rim protection was a big one for me right here, because what Suggs has been doing since he's coming back, not only has he been passing the ball more, which has been good to see for just someone who's a fan of, the player, hoping he succeeds with the Magic, but he's been driving a lot more. He's been getting to the rim, and especially what I'm talking about is free throws, man. Free throws, when you see those spike, monotone with an under. Yeah, I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing my best. This one really stuck out to me before. I'd just be real mad at myself again if I didn't play it right here. But yeah, so we've seen the last 2 games. He's got up to 15. He's got up to 20 points. But in those games, he was really getting to the free throw line. He was very successfully, hitting those free throws, which is good. He's a good free throw shooter. But I don't anticipate 7 to 9 free throw attempts every single game. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, especially for a rookie. I think this is going to be a slow game. I think this is going to be a messy game. And once again, the Magic are back to full strength, man. Not only do they have their full starting lineup back with Franz in there who's playing well, Cole Anthony who's not playing particularly well. They've got everyone back healthy. Wendell Carter Jr., who's a fairly high usage center for the position, or power forward, I guess, in those 2 big lineups they run. But additionally, the depth there too. He played 34 minutes, 35 minutes these last couple of games. I think we're going to see him back in that 28 to 30 range he was in earlier in the season, because now Gary Harris and Terrence Ross are both back. A lot of people don't look at the backup depth, but there's obviously a reason he's been getting that extra rotation. Same with Darius Garland without Rajon Rondo these last couple of days. We've noticed that too. So with the depth back, Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, both playing for trades right now. They're playing to go win a championship with the Lakers this year. You got to have a good performance. I just think it's a lot of factors pointing against Suggs right here. So I felt very good about this one. I was hoping it would move to 16.5. There was some early action. Since then, the market's kind of adjusted. So we got our plus 100, minus 105 still on DraftKings right now.
That is funny that Brandon just mentioned that you have an under and I have an over, which is very strange with our betting style. Because I'm usually the guy hammering the unders. So this is it's like a good opposite day on the show. I like that.
100. Yeah, we got to throw them off. We got to keep them engaged on past the prop here. We can't let it get too repeatable. When I was just tweeting out Hunter Renfrow every week, people were getting bored. So I got to mix it up.
People hate my pick. Someone commented on my thing yesterday. Like I said, when I took Luka's under. I took a half, and someone commented, it was like, "Love this play. Can't fade Luka though. He's my favorite player." And I responded, I was like, "You should probably unfollow. You won't like this page." I was like, "It's gonna get real repetitive, but you'll make some money. So it's up to you, man."
Yeah, no, yeah. Maybe steer clear of this page, buddy. If you can't get by that.
I was like, I don't block many people, but I might have to, man. This is not the page for you.
Beautiful. I really like this play. Like you said, so many dudes on this roster that have the ability to go off. I'm going to have to use some of the usage there. Mo Bamba is officially active tonight as well. That is big news, as obviously Mo Bamba is going to put up at least probably 8 to 12 shots in this one as well. So
5 threes again.
Oh yeah, what a guy! Love Mobamba.
Love Mobamba.
All right. Looks like we have a ton of questions, guys. I really appreciate all you guys tuning in. Actually, a couple of these are going to actually count towards our plays. So if we don't answer, I promise it's probably because we're going to talk about it here shortly. Like I have a few guys who talked about my play last night that missed. Won't talk about it yet. I know someone here does have that play today. So I'm going to just get into mine. And then after our first round, we'll go through all of your guys' questions, have these cappers go through them as well with me. I'm excited. I'm going with Caris LeVert tonight.
I like that.
Really, really like Caris LeVert. It's 1.25 just because I don't know if I trust the Pacers to keep this close. We have a Charlotte team here, but Charlotte does have a back-to-back today. They're the 7th worst defensive efficiency team in the league. And we're gaining almost 3 full possessions for Indiana tonight in pace spots. Obviously, without Brogdon in the last 2 years in games without Brogdon, Hurts actually gained 4.5% usage, over 30% this year when Brogdon's not in the lineup. Usually sits around that 27.5. We're seeing him at 31 this year without Brogdon. Obviously, that doesn't even count in Sabonis yet because he's obviously out, but he's averaging 7 boards in the 2 games without Sabonis. So I really like that. I like that he's getting a ton of shots. He doesn't really have anybody to fight with him. The only guy I think really is going to fight with him is Jeremy Lamb because that guy doesn't pass. But he's averaging 15 shots per game without Brogdon in the lineup. And I don't trust Charlotte's defense. Like they don't care about defense. That's not their priority here. They want to move the ball. They want to move it fast. They want to get the stats. And if Gordon Hayward doesn't play again, I think that's even better because Gordon, as bad as it sounds, is actually probably one of the better defensive players on this team, which is terrible because he's not a good defender. But Charlotte is coming off a back-to-back. Indiana is actually one of the few teams that isn't. There was a lot of games last night. Usually Tuesdays are pretty light, but we're going to have probably about 70% of these teams tonight coming into a back-to-back. Indiana is not one of them. For a guy that's going to have to do everything for this team, I think that definitely helps. That he didn't have to play last night because he did get 34 minutes in their last game, 19, 7, and 6, something like that. Obviously didn't hit this number, but I think with the pace-up spot, along with this terrible Charlotte defense, I really like the over here. I mean, if you want to do points, rebounds, assists, that's definitely live. But I think that the rebounds without Sabonis and the points and usage without Brogdon will definitely bring this up. Do you guys have any thoughts on Caris LeVert tonight versus the Charlotte Hornets?
I mean, I saw I was in the the spaces last night that apparently have been blowing up because I don't even know. I was on for 5 minutes last night, and immediately people were saying let's go long shot, LeVert, Melo, triple doubles, same game parlay. I'm not saying I advise that, but yeah, people are LeVert's usage has been crazy, and I watched a lot of the films in the game too. And the thing with the Hornets is that their paint numbers aren't bad. Their points given up in the paint, but if you watch them, it's mostly because people can beat them anywhere. They have no paint defense. Someone like Caris LeVert that's actually really good at the rim. You have Mason Plumlee to guard that. That's be really aggressive. I make the joke on my page too that Mason Plumlee, I don't know why his play style reminds me of mayonnaise. He's just very he's just out there doing nothing. I don't know. He's not. So if he's guarding LeVert at the rim, I don't see him doing much to stop him there.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no, I mean, the Hornets, if you're in the stream, you probably know we love to target the Hornets, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
something that happens all year long. We've kind of referred to LeVert as that black hole kind of player in the past, where once he gets the ball in his hands, he is much more interested in shooting the ball than he is passing the ball. Yeah, who's going to stop him from getting these shot attempts up? I mean, this team is in a really rough spot right now, one that tends to happen. We see these teams really lean on their best offensive players. LeVert is a volume guy, not an efficiency guy. We know that. I think the volume will be there tonight. There's like you said, no defensive presence. We're particularly worried about whether it's at the rim with Mason Plumlee or whoever is going to get that assignment on the perimeter. Not too concerned at all. Yeah, LeVert's in a great spot. I haven't looked at his rebounds numbers, to be honest, so I don't know how well he spikes there. But yeah, the points, obviously, I'm feeling very good about that for sure.
The only reason that I shot to that spot versus like just doing points was just when Sabonis is out and Turner. He's been averaging over like 7 point something per game. If I only need him to score 20 points tonight on Charlotte, I would take that bet all day, but I think it's like 22 to 21. So I will take this one, hoping he hits that number again. But yeah, we have a ton of questions in here.
I'm reading these comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We have Conceive from Brazil. Thank you for tuning in. We get the international audience. I didn't even get to the
cracking me up. Oh my goodness.
Brian, I want a Luka replica.
I want to save that for later. Put that back on the screen. Put that back on the screen. That's going on that's my new profile picture for my Twitter. I needed that.
Let's find some questions here. We have a lot of people talking. Let's go to Brian here. You got any thoughts on CP3 over 15 and a half rebounds and assists?
So this is one that made me cry a little bit this morning because they moved it. If anyone in the stream follows my page, without DeAndre Ayton in the lineup, I need something to bet on the Suns because I have nothing else to live for. So when he's out of the lineup, I've been hammering like every night. Like talk about trends that I ride. Chris Paul's assists, I mean his rebounds have been like money. Like it started off at 3.5 even without Ayton, and then it was 4.5 at like plus money, and then last game it was like minus 110 for 4.5, and I love it. Like I kind of mentioned last time I took it, so his rebounds now are 5.5, like plus 120. I think he had 9 last game. I jokingly put like $8 on him to have a triple double and win at plus 3,200, and he was one short on the rebounds, which kind of hurt a little bit. But same thing I mentioned like last time. CP3 he leads the Suns in rebound distance, so he averages 10 feet from the rim for every rebound. And Utah is second in the league in threes. They actually average 41 3 attempts at home. So if you're looking at that rebound chances, if you're taking that many threes and you have Chris Paul that's usually set farther from the rim, even if Gobert plays or anything else, there's a lot of long rebounds. And his assist line has been like money. I think like 9.5 is minus 140. Yep. I know there's some love for Devin Booker tonight. Kobe's death 2-year anniversary. So the narrative play for him to go off. So if he's going off, Chris Paul is making those passes. And then interestingly enough, Chris Paul has 5 or more rebounds in all 7 games this year without Jay Crowder. So Jay Crowder's out tonight. So that's another guy that you talk about McGee being out and Ayton being out. I think JaVale McGee is like I think Jay Crowder is the guy that like is like almost the key because him and Chris Paul have a lot of that similar like distance from the rim, so you can't really like I think he's a bigger beneficiary because you have 5+. He's only hit the 6+ rebounds 4 out of the 7 without Jay, but you're getting, like I said, you're in that range every time with at least 5 boards. So if you're taking that plus money and you're assuming he's going to get 10 assists, which is kind of what he's been doing recently, I actually like that one. I just haven't decided if I'm playing it yet or not because it was 14.5 for the longest time. And, a rebound assist line, 1 means the world. So it's iffy. Like, it's definitely what I love. I'm not sure if it's what I'm playing yet or not.
Perfect. Yeah, no. Great analysis.
I mean, even like, right, because this is one I know you and a couple of people in my Discord have really been riding the Chris Paul, rebounds train kind of when it's been an option for good reason. Obviously, there's tons of rebound equity opened up now, right? Big B in the paint down there, like it's going to be real interesting, but it does, you're right, that one number does feel way bigger. Just kind of thinking about stat lines out loud, seeing 10-5 from Chris Paul isn't too weird, but for whatever reason, when you get to like 10-6, it kind of goes
11-5, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It pumps up, it scares you a little bit, especially when you're so used to seeing 13, 14, even 12 at, points early in the season. So it does feel a little bit high to me, but I definitely second a lot of the stuff you were saying for sure in there.
It's one for me where I don't think it's going to move. I think this is set as it is. I just want to see what the Jazz look like because are we getting the discount Jazz like last game? Or are we getting like that's – I just want to see. I don't think it matters as much, but, I mean, if Gobert's in, a lot of the –
He's out already.
Okay, so I wasn't sure. So I saw the line move from like 3 to 1.5. So does that mean Mitchell's – I haven't really –
Mitchell's out. Connolly's back. That's the big thing I like for the assist line is because Connolly's actually playing. He actually isn't going to be able to score on every single play like if Clarkson.
Awesome. Last night I checked from Underdog. I know they were both like still.
They're official. They're official.
Yeah, so they're official also because I was digging into other games but we're getting ready for this. Yeah, so if they're out, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, you have like Bismack playing like he's an all-star, which is like, and it's mostly because he's just getting softer matchups. And Chris Paul can get those. Like, I don't usually have like a tinfoil hat, but the fact that his line is 9.5 again is a little weird. It just he's been crushing that. I think he has like 30 assists the last 2 games.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, yeah. I mean, there's nothing negative.
I think we got to move on from this one. We got a lot of questions in here. We're gonna have to go a little quicker, I think, on these ones.
Go for it.
Monotone, got any thoughts here on Jokic points, rebounds, assists, 47.5 tonight?
This actually might make my card. I was on him yesterday, for sure. And I might go back. I actually really thought about sending this in for the show. So I have nothing negative to say. Jokic's playing amazing. Additionally, he's been great on back-to-backs this year. He's hit this number in 4 of his last 5 back-to-backs. He carries this team offensively. Some people may bring up the stats that kind of show the Nets are pretty good against centers, but you got to remember the Nets are pretty good against pick and roll centers. Jokic does not depend on the pick and roll to create shot opportunities at all. He does it all on his own. So I'm not very worried about Mr. Foul, Nicholas Claxton, or 80-year-old LaMarcus Aldridge. So I feel very
Claxton's
good.
out too, so that's why I was going to talk about Jokic as well.
Okay.
I like without him, you're going to have 40-year-old Aldridge, and you're going to have Blake Griffin, whose knees are broken.
He's back. It's good to see it.
Yeah.
We have one more Suns question, and then we'll hopefully, I think, a couple more in here. Any thoughts? I mean, I really have no thoughts on this one without Gobert. I don't really see a huge edge on 11.5, maybe like 9.5, 10 maybe, but 11.5 just seems a tad high for me to be betting on Biyombo.
Yeah, and that's one where I would second what you just said there, where I mean he's also there's not enough data out there for me personally to have enough to go off of, because I know he has 13 the last 2 games, but then the game before that he had 4. So it's one of those ones where he should and could easily get 30. If he plays 30 minutes, he can grab 13 again. But I just don't see an edge in that, in that line as much. I don't know. That's just a weird one.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Perfect. Anybody thoughts on Garland's assists? I mean, I think everybody's kind of on it. So I'm not going to.
So he'll probably get ejected. Twitter.
Yeah, I'll rain on everyone's parade. I don't really give a fuck about a birthday narrative, to be honest. I never look at that kind of thing. The more interesting narrative people brought up was, isn't he close to breaking an assist record? Yeah, LeBron's. That probably matters a little bit more. But when you look at it, the Bucks are still a tough matchup, good rim protection. I'm not rushing to bet it. I think it's a fine bet. I'm not here to talk anyone out of it, but everyone loves Garland today, and that number is holding pretty strong. So
it's plus money. So like I said, I don't ever wear a tinfoil hat, or I don't ever worry about things. But it is sometimes you have that hesitation where you're oh, this is a smash spot, and then you see on Twitter everyone's smashing it, and you're oh, that line's ruined, and then you check and it's still plus 110.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know.
I've had 5 people bring up that double-doubles plus 150, and it's it's still there, So I don't know. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting guy to monitor. But we'll move past that.
We have Jake saying he loves the rebound assist line there for Middleton. That is good to go. Yes, I really like that 3 line. Honestly, this is going to be a game where he's going to get probably 25 shots. Do think that's a good pivot. I'm seeing plus 150 for 2.5. So that might be a spot too. And then we'll have one more question here before we go to our second place. Capella rebounds and Wendell Carter Jr. rebounds. I'll talk about the Wendell Carter one. With Bamba back, I don't really have a preference here, attacking a rebound spot for him. When Bamba's out, I love going for Wendell Carter stuff. It's just those guys do overlap minutes a lot. They play 2 bigs quite often in this Orlando lineup, which I don't like. I wish they would just have Bamba come off the bench, seeing as he only gets usually that high 20s, low 30s minutes anyway, and Carter's getting that 36. So I would prefer if Bamba was out, but with that news he's in, I'm probably off of Wendell Carter. Any thoughts on Capella?
I was just saying, so 9.5 for Wendell Carter. That's a higher line.
Yeah, I mean, Carter has, he has good history. He hit this in their one matchup earlier in the year, but like you said, it's kind of hard to decipher with Bamba back now. Capella, who knows how many minutes this guy's going to play? They got a great matchup against the Kings. I mean, the Kings' tallest player is like 6'8". He can kind of just put his arm up and get a rebound, but it's not something I'm not running to the door to get on Clint Capella today.
I think his minutes have been really weird since coming back too, and in a spread where I don't try to cap spreads, kind of higher. I don't know where he'll play minutes wise if they do pull away as well, because he's played 26 minutes the last 2 games with a total of 14 rebounds, so averaging 7 a game. So even when he's out there, he's kind of been less aggressive, I guess, because he had 8 rebounds in 26 minutes against Charlotte, and I believe I can get 4 rebounds in 26 minutes against Charlotte. So I think it's a little interesting there.
Perfect. Well, let's move on to our next round of plays here. Again, keep commenting the questions. I think we still have about 4 or 5, but we'll get to those after our second round here. We'll go right back to you, Brian, on yours, who I was on points assists yesterday. The blowout killed me. I think this is a great spot tonight. Yeah,
so, I mean, this is one, too, where prop bet guy, Doug on Twitter, he tweeted it out, and it was one where I rushed it out, and because I was, had it on my, my board of, potential plays, and as soon as I saw he was on it, I was like, I have 3.5 seconds to tweet this until the line's gone forever. So it did move from 38.5 to 39.5. I like both. I mean, I think it's still, minus 110. And like you mentioned, in his last 5 games, he's put up 30, 47, 47, 41, 34 points as his rebounds. And last night he had 34 points as his rebounds in 24 minutes. So his production has just been unreal. His usage rate's been unreal. And he dominates the ball even with Derek with White back. Even with White being back in the lineup, people were worried about betting on his assists originally. He averages the same amount of assist chances and assists with and without White. So he still sees that potential, and he gets the Grizzlies tonight, and they have the second highest pace. So we talked about pace before. More possessions means more stats. He's really good in transition as well. That's the other thing, is that if they're also in transition, he's another guy that could be taking it the whole length of the court, and just like that, you have 3 RPA in a second. I just saw that when you put up there. I love that. Everyone lost their mind about that, and I just thought it was a normal thing in my production. That's hilarious. Second thing is that Grizzlies, they are a really good matchup for him, but on the surface, if you just look at positional, they are kind of better against point guards. But if you look at the last 2 guys that really had good games against them, it's Darius Garland, and it was even Russell Westbrook had 38 points, assist, rebounds, and he's done nothing forever. But these kind of guys where Murray does take a lot of threes, he doesn't make many, but he'll go 1 for 6. But guys like Murray that are really good at driving the rim, creating contact, and just you talk about Jaren Jackson. I could see Jaren Jackson fouling this guy 3 times at the rim. So get him to the line, get the length out of there. I just think the way he plays basketball matches up really well in this game. And you get a discount on this line because 38.5, 39.5 is pretty low for him, considering his recent success. He's averaging 34 points, assist, rebounds, and back-to-backs. But like you said, he played 24 minutes last night. To count this as a back-to-back for a young player, 5th year in his league, I don't really take that into account as much.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's kind of a gift, right? A lot of people are on this one. I definitely don't have too many bad things to say. I guess my biggest concern is while the Grizzlies defense has gotten worse with Ja coming back, obviously, it still is a pretty good defense, especially when you look at what Dejounte Murray does best, which, like you said, is those drives. He gets to the rim, scores at the rim. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been an amazing paint protector this season, despite the fact that, like you said, he does have some fouling tendencies. Same with Steven Adams. They do tend to protect the paint very well. They have a lot of defensive-oriented guards. I'm not sure who draws the assignment in this game. It's not going to be Ja. I know that. I'm not
just Ja.
You think since Bane's back, he could draw the assignment possibly. Either way, I think life might be a little bit difficult for Murray in the scoring department. A lot of people are on this one, so I see the positives for sure. I am a little bit worried about that Grizzlies defense.
So,
but the transition thing you brought up was 100%. I love that.
Yeah, and that's why I like the combo here as well. He's coming off a 5 rebound game as well, so I just think like in games where he's had like the last time he had a 4 rebound game, he had 10 the next game. He's a good bounce back player as well. So I just think his involvement is enough for like this total to clear. So that's why I didn't choose one or the other.
Yeah.
I used to bet just his RA, but I added the points today just because I feel like there's going to be so much, like, I think the over-under is like 225.5. There's just going to be so much. Yeah, there's just like, then that's the other thing is sometimes with me, I think the Grizzlies have the 8th highest defensive efficiency, but just like the Nets, who also have a good defensive efficiency, they give up big numbers on pace alone. You can have the best defensive like efficiency in the world, but if you're giving your opponent like 9 extra possessions a game, the stats will eventually come. So like sometimes you can play good defense and still, see these guys kind of have like amazing games despite, a lower total or this or that, because just the way they play in the pace.
Yeah, for sure. I had Murray last night, so anybody who needs my background to this, I have it in my last video. I literally hyped this dude up. Obviously lost by 1 on the blowout in only 24 minutes. I had points assists last night at 30.5. He had 29, obviously, in 24 minutes.
Yeah.
I have only good things to say for Dejounte Murray. But
it's fun to watch.
Yeah, you talk about the Nets. We'll bring up Monotone's next play. We'll bring it up here with James Harden.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm not going to keep you on too many unders. Maybe we talked about Julius Randle. Maybe if we got a better number pre-show, then maybe I would go back to back. But yeah, we're going to James Harden. He's someone I talked about. We did a Spaces yesterday, which was pretty fun. Talked DFS, betting. And yeah, I was talking a lot about Harden, and I'm back to it. Harden's not someone I'm particularly worried about on the back-to-back, despite he is like for NBA purposes, I guess he's a middle-aged player, I guess you would say. But either way, Harden's played these back-to-backs before, and I mean, he's going to need to carry the load again, like he did yesterday. It was tough deciding between points, rebounds, and assists and just points, but I ended up going with points. I mean, he's just going to be doing everything in this game, right? He's going to be driving so much. He's going to be looking to draw that contact, which he does so well. A lot of guys, foul shooting is kind of ticky-tacky, like I talked about earlier, but James Harden is not someone I'm worried about having trouble getting to the free throw line. The beginning of the year, I think we got a little overexcited with how much we talked about how these foul calls are coming down, because everything's kind of back to normal, right? Everything is relatively close to what it was at last year. And yeah, I love the spot for Harden. No KD, no Kyrie. When you look at the kind of guys that have really destroyed Denver's defense over these last couple weeks, it's been guards that are really dominant. Ja Morant just had an exceptional game against these guys recently. I just think everything that's going to happen in this game is going to flow through Harden, and both teams are on a back-to-back. So I don't think that's a great excuse. That's the number one thing people were kind of commenting back to me is the back-to-back. Well, so are the Nuggets, and the Nuggets guard defense is really bad. I mean, the Nuggets are dealing with so many injuries, man, night in, night out. They're playing Austin Rivers meaningful minutes at this point. It's kind of concerning. I think this will say that again.
I said, yeah, that's tough to see Rivers in a 30-minute role.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm anticipating, Patty Mills had a tougher game yesterday. Maybe he'll bounce back and have a better game. But either way, I'm not too worried about any of his supporting cast. I think Harden has the floor to himself, has the night to himself. It's a relatively, watched matchup, right? People on ESPN are going to be talking about this one. We know Harden likes to show out in those games. I think Harden will have 30 plus pretty easily in this game.
Yeah, I had him last night, 28.5, easy money. Shooting well from the field, actually pretty efficient from the field as well in his shots. And this is something I talk about as primarily like growing up, but mostly baseball, right? Mostly baseball guy. So when I see a guy, if I'm the ace and I'm throwing up against another ace, they show out, right? That's how you're going to go back at each other. You got Harden here and you got Jokic. They're going back and forth. I mean, you damn near could just run same game of Jokic and Harden just going at each other, because those guys' usage rate are going to be astronomical in this game. I don't think a back-to-back really means anything here as it's in Brooklyn. If it was in Denver, I'd probably have a little bit more concern for back-to-back in the altitude, but we're in Brooklyn, no Kyrie. The usage rate is just absolutely nuts. So I have nothing bad to say about this one.
I have nothing bad against it. I liked it yesterday. I just didn't pull the trigger. I actually jokingly put $5 on him to have 30 points and under 2.5 threes, which is funny that it did hit. He only had 2 threes, but I don't know. That's a good one. He's been driving to the rim a lot.
Yeah, man, he's really looking for contact in this new role. I noticed it first when I watched him play DC a couple days ago. I was really kind of paying attention. He was really looking for that contact, and he hasn't turned back since. He's really, I imagine 10 free throws is not like a ceiling projection. That's, more of a medium projection. So, yeah, I feel great about Harden. Like you said, we got an ace versus an ace right here. Should be a good game.
Love it. Looks like Reed is actually – Reed is remember we had him in our stream last night. He popped on our spaces. And we're actually going to talk about this guy. You guys are talking about here. He said he has an SGP with Keldon 1-3 and Murray 7 assists. I think that's good. And Jay and me are on the same page. Looks like we are going to be on the same page for my last play of the night, which is going to be Keldon Johnson's points rebounds over 20.5. And I'm almost getting plus money on this. I think this is absurd, absolutely absurd. Okay, he's hit 20 points, rebounds in 7 of his last 8 games. The one he missed, he played 23 minutes in a blowout with the Thunder. We have a pace-up spot here with the Grizzlies. Obviously, we talked about it where I think that he's going to be the recipient of a lot of these dump downs from Jaren Jackson probably coming over because I'm going to assume Jaren Jackson will be on him and Pirtle will be with Steven Adams while they are in the game. This month, 14.5 points, 5 rebounds. On the season, he's at 15 points, 6 rebounds on the season. In the last month of non-blowouts, he's getting 33 minutes. We're getting a pace-up spot about 1.5 possessions here. Usage rate on the season still sitting at 20%, even with Dejounte Murray kind of controlling this roster, right, controlling the game mostly. We talked about it, how Memphis has that curtain that looks good on numbers wise for defensive efficiency. I'm not a huge fan of this defense. Also, they rank bottom 5 in 3-point percentage allowed at 36.1%. Like I said, if they're going to double down and they're going to have Jaren have to kind of come down and protect the paint against Dejounte Murray driving, I think this is another kick-out spot. He's had multiple threes, and I think like 4 of the last 7 games. So we could see a pop-off game for him. And then just looking at head-to-head matchups, I'm not a huge guy on head-to-head matchups. I don't think it really tells me that much. But he's averaged last season in 3 games, 17.7 points, 6.7 rebounds in the 3 games last year. And this is something that I kind of looked into earlier in the week, and this is why I might be attacking that game is this was actually supposed to be a nationally televised game. This was supposed to be an ESPN game tonight. And then like 4 or 5 days ago, they pulled it and put the Knicks and Heat on ESPN tonight. So I think this might be one of those petty games where you're going to see like Ja go off. You're going to see some big games from a lot of guys here because the Grizzlies don't get that many nationally televised games. The Spurs definitely don't, but this is the game that you would have, right, circled. Now they pulled it off. I think this is going to be a fun game. I see this as a fun same game parlay spot to attack. I really like Keldon Johnson. I think that he's going to be very good through the years, and he's obviously getting quite a bit of run here, 33 minutes a game in non-blowouts. And 7 of 8, like I said, 7 of 8 games, he's actually hit 20. That's nuts.
Yeah, man, I'm a Keldon Johnson hater, honestly. I'm not the biggest fan of his game, I guess, in general, but he's been impressive recently, especially from really his weak point is beyond the arc, right? But above, what was this guy? Another prop guy, right? There's a lot of prop names. It's tough for me. Sorry. Yeah, he mentioned on our stream yesterday, he's been very consistent recently. He's really getting at least 1. He's having some spike games, getting multiple threes in. The rebounding should be there. It's fairly consistent. He normally sits in the kind of 4 to 7 range for rebounds. So that's always good, obviously. Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're taking advantage of in this prop right here. So yeah.
I love it. You have any thoughts on Keldon?
Yeah, I was gonna say I like it. Get that defense collapsing on Murray, then he can hit some threes. Get that kick out. Get those assist numbers up for me.
Yeah, but he's a pretty good cutter too. Just
yeah,
really easy paint points. Can't hate on that.
Perfect. Let's go through a couple questions here. It looks like we have a few in the chat here. Let's grab the first one. Biyombo double-double. We kind of talked about Biyombo a little bit. I'm not a huge fan. I think it's just a little high. I don't think that price would be very great. Honestly, I'd be probably worried about him scoring, to be honest. He just gets a ton of boards. I'd almost be worried about the scoring portion of that one.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a small sample size. Some smart people are probably going to be on him by the end of the day. I really wouldn't be surprised. When you're kind of capping these plays every day, it's so easy to really want value, even if it's not necessarily there. Sometimes you still really want to see that value. And Biyombo, he has a very minimal, like you said, kind of box score in these situations, but it could go either way. So I've had a couple people texting me since like 5 a.m. trying to get me on the Bismack trade, but I think I'll probably be sitting out today. Because Whiteside's a great matchup. Whiteside's going to sit directly under the paint, and that's going to draw more rebounds for him. So I definitely see the appeal for sure, but I'm perfectly fine sitting out the Bismack day today.
Perfect. Let's go to Brian here. You got any thoughts on Trae Young? Seeing at 42.5 points, rebounds, assists.
See, this is one too where I've actually like considered playing his under on that line a few times, and he's been like kind of off. But if you're talking about like matchup city right now, the Kings are awful. Like that's I know I didn't mean to sound super smart there against everybody, but they're terrible. But he's only hit that I think it might be 4 of his last 6 he's hit it. But I know the last 2 games he struggled. But like he had 38, I think, points assist rebounds against Charlotte. Let me check on that. But that was another game where I was surprised that he didn't hit that. Yeah, so 38 against Charlotte, 38 against Miami, and then Minnesota is the game he went off for like 56, where he had like that crazy game. So I mean that's one obviously where. That's when you talk about Capella. The only thing that worries me with Trae Young is his assist numbers. Like he's gonna get his dimes either way, but that pick and roll he has with Clint Capella and the chances for him to lob it up on like transition plays or that pick and roll, I just think his assist totals are helpful. Like last game against Charlotte he had 4, and then he had 7 assists against Miami, and those are both games where Capella was in but not really like fully in. So that's the only thing that would worry me is that if he does have Capella for limited minutes, it might hurt those assist numbers.
Yep, no, it's something we've talked about a lot on this show is you want to get that roll man, when you're playing these large assist numbers, right? You're depending on at least a couple transition dimes, at least a couple lobs. He has Collins there too, which is obviously a better safety net than most point guards have, but it's tough. It's a very large number. His rebounding's been consistent recently, but it just depends. Do you think the Kings can keep this one close? Because they couldn't yesterday, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to bet in these Kings games. They're really atrocious right now.
Yeah, I will say I kind of mentioned it on like Spaces last night and about Trae Young. I have like this whole thing. So I was like looking at his rebound lines. I'm not sure what it opened as. I'm looking at it now. It is 3.5. His rebound's been really consistent recently, like overall. So that's one like I might look into, like different from what you were saying with the PRA line. But yeah, that rebound line, he's another guy where the Kings do take more threes on the road than at home. And he has, I think, 11 feet from the rim is his average distance of rebounds. And he's only had 4 games since November where he didn't hit 3 rebounds. So he's another one of those guys where if you get a 3.5 line, you can always feel like one ball will bounce his way and he might get that 4th. So that's another one where I actually might be playing his over, just so singular on rebounds, on sheer missed shots from these Kings players.
Yeah,
perfect. No. Mr. Ja, I don't know what his line is at.
So high.
Yeah, I thought it was like 44. I thought it was a tad high, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to go against Ja, to be honest. He's been playing so well. And I do like him tonight. I just think that line is just so high. Like you're going to need 30 plus points automatically, and you're going to have him grab like 5 of 6 rebounds. I feel like that's the only way we get here, right? If it's mid 40s. The reason why I like when you go Jokic or you go like a lot of these other guys, points, rebounds, assists, like I need Ja to pop off on one of those stats like way over the Vegas projection, right? I mean, if you're going to need him to pop off like 14, 15 assists, you're going to need him to pop off at least 7 rebounds probably, and then he'll have like an average of 20 a game. So it's tough. That's a very high line. That's like I think it was 45.5. I saw it last.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of how I was talking about LeBron yesterday. I really liked LeBron. I really wanted to play LeBron, and they put his number up at 29. And it's like, okay, well, his number was 29 without Anthony Davis. And now Anthony Davis is back. You're still going to give me 29. That kind of threw me the wrong way. It was enough to push me off of playing it, which worked because he hit it. I feel the same way. Ja's got a good matchup. Like you said, I think we're going to see a fast-paced matchup, lots of transition. Those should be able to attack that Spurs, center unit very effectively. I like Podol. I talk about him all the time. Great shot blocker, still about an average paint defender, especially when he kind of goes for those blocks. He kind of lets up some open spots. But yeah, asking me to get to 30 points with Desmond Bane back is tough, man. I know it's not Dylan Brooks quite yet. If they were giving me a 27 on points, maybe a 28 even at plus money, I would consider it. But 29.5, that's just his baseline points. Just make this really hard for me to get to today.
Perfect. And then I think our last one I could see here, Tim, obviously, RA means rebounds and assists. That's what that means. If I would type out all of them, it would take the entire bomb up with.
He could have missed the beginning. He might know what RA is and just be asking about it. Because if that is true, you can rewind. Because this was Brian's first play. Actually, he's big on Middleton today.
I'm actually looking at Trae Young as rebounds, and it's actually like minus 130 on FanDuel, but it's minus 160 other books.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw the minus 160 this morning, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting trend. And minus 160, I was like, nah, but 130 is a lot more doable, obviously.
And I'm looking at, 4 and a win on FanDuel is plus money, which is pretty cool. So I might look into that. I like that because, if I don't usually do like the PPDs, but in that case, if I can get a plus money for a rebound prop that's really thin, I might be looking into that.
Yeah,
perfect.
For sure.
All right, 2 questions left. This first one is talking about my Bucks minus 4. I don't know if Allen's specifically out yet. They still have a questionable tag on him. But yeah, the Bucks have enough size to body up these big guys, especially with Laurie out. Laurie out is actually huge, to be honest, because he's going to sit out there and stroke. I think Kevin Love's going to have a decent game tonight. If you're going to look for a value guy, Kevin Love should be a guy. Unfortunately, he just doesn't get enough run. He only gives me like 23 to 26 minutes, even without Allen in the lineup like last game. I wish he would get a little bit more, but he should shoot a lot tonight. I think the Bucks do cover with all the big 3 back. But yeah, if Allen's in and it gets to like 5 or 6, then maybe I'll take Cavs. But if Allen's out, I think 4 is kind of a steal line, to be honest. Almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's how they get you, man. That's always how they get you.
All right. One last question for all of us before we get to our long shots here. So we'll start out with Brian, go to monotone, and then I'll go with myself here. Ginger is asking, what game would you attack a same game parlay? If you had to attack a game with a same game parlay, to give us one, but what game would you attack, and who would be kind of like the big guys that you would be going for in those plays?
So for me, I haven't looked because like that DK promo. I don't have promos anymore on DraftKings because they hate me and I'm limited and banned and I don't get boost. But I'm still running it on my page where like I'm spending $10 a day. I'm really, investing deep in this where I'm still running the plus 300s or whatever. I might look into the Suns only because the Suns games for some reason, I don't know if it's because I watch them a lot. I watch every game, so I don't know if it's that, but they just seem to like have great like same game parlay props. I don't know why. Like you have you have Chris Paul's trends with like without these other players with the rebounds, assists. You have Booker putting up like good points. You have the Suns that seem to always find a way to win. That's one game where I'd be thinking of looking at the same game parlay. They just always seem to have like consistent props. The only guy that's not consistent is Mikal Bridges, who shoots like 2 sometimes, or sometimes he drops like 4 threes. He's the only guy that's like doesn't have like consistent usage, I think.
Perfect. Monotone, what game would you go with?
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think Suns Jazz is a good one. Nuggets Nets is a good one. And then if you're looking to do some alternate unders, I think Knicks Heat actually has some pretty good spots. Say that again?
It's all the unders in that game. Like,
yeah. I mean,
all 11 teams, like all props, like all.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get that risky, you can have fun with that, but it's going to be a super slow-paced game, a lot of defense. So I like alt unders. Additionally, the books tend to give you some pretty good odds on the alternate unders. A lot of people do the elevator thing where they go up with props. And you tend to actually get kind of worse odds where if you go with the under, which way less people do, they actually can give you some real favorable 2 or 3 leg spots right there. So Heat Knicks would not mind some unders in that game.
Mine's actually going to probably surprise you guys. I think if I'm going to go with the same game parlay, I would go with the late night hammer, which is the Portland Trailblazers with the Dallas Mavericks. I think that game has huge potential in it. I mean, obviously, I know Dallas is slow, but Portland plays absolutely no defense. I know they've been playing defense a little bit lately, but okay, I almost saw Yusuf Nurkic foul out in 5 minutes last night. I think he comes back and just absolutely demolishes these guys because if they're going to put Porzingis on him, he's going to snap him in half. I think going with Luka, I even like Jalen Brunson quite a bit tonight. I think that Luka, Jalen Brunson, maybe run it back with Nurkic might be a DFS thought of mine. I also think that those guys' lines are very low because of the low total. I think it can definitely go over. I know a lot of sharp people are on that under, but I think that over has value. We only give me 215 with Blazers defense. I'll take that. I think that would be the game I'd attack. All right, here we go for you, Monotone. Let's see your long shot, what everybody came to see. Everybody wants to see it.
Yep. So it's in that same game. It's Jokic, Harden, 30+ points. I normally do like to give you guys something better than this. I like to tie it in with a nice, realistic 60-1 golf winner. Unfortunately, the golf tournament this week, because the playoffs are on Sunday, it actually started already. So I
have a few plays out too. I didn't take any for VIP or nothing, but I have a couple long shots that I have in.
We're going to have to talk about that. I like it. I like recruiting more people to the dark side. If you like plus 300 winners, remember the shortest player in any given golf tournament is going to be like 10-1. So you'll always get those odds when you win. But yeah, no, I did stay away from, I can't give you any great golf 300-1 parlayed with a triple double. Unfortunately, I know that's what you guys are all here for. So I'm sorry about that. I'll try to let you know before the show, maybe in the future. But when we are sticking with this game, we talked about it earlier. It's going to be Jokic and Harden over 30 points. I think we're getting pretty good odds on this. This is on FanDuel. I haven't line shopped it yet, so maybe a boost might come out at maybe plus 500 at some point. I don't know if I haven't line shopped it quite yet. I will right after the show. But yeah, Jokic and Harden 30 points is pretty self-explanatory. We went over this game earlier. It's kind of giant versus giant, ace versus ace. We're talking about two players who are tasked with more responsibility than almost anyone else in the NBA in terms of not only scoring, but passing, rebounding, all of that. I think it's kind of going to be like you said, an ace versus ace show tonight. And I see both guys going over 30 points fairly easily. Jokic's already implied at 27, Harden implied at 28. We're not really asking for too much to get these guys over the mark. One more bucket and we're good.
I like it. I can't believe they're giving you those odds. I'm going to be a little bit bigger like usual on these crazy odds. I'm going back to one of my crazy little parlays here. I'm going to do a double-double parlay tonight. My 3-leg double-double parlay, I did post that huge ticket that I cashed like 83-1 when I had LaMelo, Tyrese, and Josh Giddey. This one's a little bit shorter. I'm going to be a square on the Darius Garland play. He's got like 5 straight double-doubles. I think that he should get there. LeVert is the long shot at plus 230 for a double-double. I think that is absurd. That man almost triple-doubled last game. He's had multiple games with 8 rebounds in the last, I think, 6. He has 2 with over 8 rebounds, 1 with 9. And lately, I know I've called him a black hole before, but he has been passing a little bit lately. So I'm combining him with that play I have already. And then Ja Morant, I think that the Spurs team's going to have to obviously kind of contain him a little bit or at least try to double. So I think that we're going to start seeing some assist lines that kind of pop off. Obviously, he's had to do most of it on his own lately. And if Bane comes back, I like him to get that double-double on a couple of those threes in the corner to Bane. I actually think that the Kyle Anderson news is huge. With him being out, that dude found a way to get assists just playing through that high post area. Without him, Morant, double-double incoming. I like this 13-1. I've been one off on the last 2 weeks. I think we got one here at 13-1.
So I didn't plan to have one, and I don't want anyone to put money on this, but I'm just gonna say if you have $5, Trae Young,
a free bet.
If Trae Young to record a triple double is plus 4,000. Just gonna say it. It's the Kings. They're bad. He is last game that they played the Kings, Trae Young was out. The guy that kind of filled in the role for Trae Young was TLC. He only had 4 boards, but he had 9 rebound chances. And with the way that the Hawks been kind of like, post trade and like kind of banged up, I'm not saying it's going to happen. And he has no triple doubles in the year, but he's had 2 games this year where he has 9 rebounds, and they both came on days with 2 or 3 days rest. He didn't play last night. He gets a team that did play last night. And he gets a team that takes a lot of threes, at least on the road. Just $5 to win like 400, like 500, $200. Yeah, I mean, think about it. I don't know. If you like wasting money, just look into it.
I like it. I think that it's got opportunity. I like that you actually had like stuff to back it up too. Like it's not just like throwing a dart. You got stuff to back it up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. He had 9 rebounds against the Lakers, and I think the Lakers are just an retirement home version of the Kings. That's really what they are.
A little harsh, but there's some similarities. Unfortunately for the Lakers fans in here, I'm sure there's a couple.
Yeah, sorry about that. It could happen. But I mean, 4,001. I mean, I don't know, like plus 4,000. It's all right.
Okay, but just while we're all here, before we wrap up real quick, the best thing about being an NBA capper is there's so many Lakers fans out there. So you can't apply this knowledge we have in most general conversations. It just doesn't happen. But when I talk about basketball in life in general, it's generally about the Lakers. Someone will be like, Russ sucks. And they'll be like, hey man, yeah, I agree with you. He does suck. They do suck. I know about the Lakers too, so there you go.
I love it. I do like them. Let's go through a quick recap of our bets. Obviously, we have the ticker on the bottom. We'll go through Brian's bets first, Monotones, and myself, and then have our final words here to sign off. So we'll start with you, Brian. We'll pull up your plays for tonight.
Yeah, so I'm the only two I have in were Middleton's rebounds and assists, and then Dejounte Murray over 39.5 points, assists, rebounds. If you can get 38.5, I think DK has it juiced, and MGM might open it. They didn't have it open yet. So MGM and DK do have similar odds. So I'm not sure if they opened it yet, but if they did, maybe you can catch that 38.5. But those are the two I have in right now.
Perfect. Monotone rolling with some plus money.
Yep, Jalen Suggs under 15.5 points. Best line was at minus 105 on DraftKings before we started the show. That's a 1-unit play right there. Next up, half a unit play, James Harden over 27.5 points.
Again, I'm rolling with a little bit heavier on my unit size. I'm going with LeVert 1.25. I know it's a weird number. Bear with me. Over 28.5 points rebounds tonight, minus 104. That was a DraftKings line. And then my second one's going to be Keldon Johnson, points rebounds over 20.5. I really like this one. This probably will move up on mine, to be honest. I'll probably move it up later in the day just because I really like that spot, especially if Bane's back. I think that's going to help this game move a little faster and get a little bit more pace to it. So lastly, I'll kind of talk about our last two. We have our same game parlay for Monotone's long shot at plus 455 for over 30 points for both Jokic and Harden. And then I have a double-double parlay with Garland, LeVert, and Morant. 13-1 there. Hoping we can get one. We've been damn close. I got to get one here shortly. So lastly, Brian, you got any shout-outs you want to have? Anything here while we're still on the stream?
Yeah, I don't really shout myself out. I mean, if you want it, it's right there on the screen. That's my Twitter. That's all it is.
There you go.
Perfect. Monotone, you got anything for the people?
No, nothing too crazy. Check out my Discord. It's linked in my bio. The link is expired most of the time, so I did manage to update it yesterday. To get it, I'm recruiting golf people. I'm just kind of going around Twitter trying to slowly get some more golf guys because it's really fun. Way better than the NBA. NBA sucks. So yeah, that's all. And we got past the prop on Friday, coming right back with you guys. No guest yet. You guys are just going to be stuck with me and PPS for the first time in a little bit, but that should be fun. I'm excited for another week of football.
Yes, we're into playoffs. Obviously, my thing is make sure you follow these two guys on Twitter. I have their links in the description of this video. So make sure you go follow Brian, go follow Monotone. Like I always say, that's going to be where you're going to find most of this stuff, right? We only go live twice a week, but we give out free plays every single day across mostly on Twitter, right? So make sure you guys go follow over there if you want to. Get a few extra picks if you want to be a little DJ like us, throwing some crazy parlays together like we do sometimes. So make sure you go follow both those guys. Again, we got past the prop in 48 hours. Can't wait for that. Should be a good round of football this weekend. So thank you so much, Brian, for tuning in with us and popping on here and being a guest. You were great. Appreciate it. And I can't wait to see us get a 6-0 sweep. I think it'll be a fun night. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys were awesome. We'll see you guys in 48 hours over on this channel again. So thank you guys.
Oh, no problem.